objective.
Alright, what's going on, guys? Today I am bringing you a video discussing whether or not anyone will ever be able to do what Complexity did their historic run in Black Ops 2 / Call of Duty Ghosts. But before we talk about that, I got a few things just to kind of little follow up on yesterday's vid. First of all, any questions about UMG Dallas, everything that happened, if you guys watched Scarce's video or Keemstar's video or anything, it can all be provided in my last video. It explains the whole thing with evidence, which is the key word there. I actually included tweets and stuff. But a couple things I do want to note about. So Scarce made a vid from it. Scarce made a vid about it. He is the leader of Red, I believe. It's like that phase, like sub-clan or whatever exactly that is. I'm not even sure. But anyway, so he made a vid. I mean, it was kind of accurate, kind of not accurate. I read the comments and most of you guys were correcting what he said wrong in the video, and I appreciate that. Also, Keemstar made a video yesterday. He finally put it on Drama Alert after claiming numerous times that I'm just not known enough to be on Drama Alert and that he wouldn't cover a story on me, then proceeded to tweet about me for hours and make a video about me, but that's whatever. That's not even important. But he made a vid and pretty much just a false video, basically. You can just tell by the way he started talking about me in the video that, you know, he has some dislike towards me. And one thing I do want to point out is you'll notice in his video there is not one piece of evidence, a tweet, a screenshot, a video, anything. There's not one bit of evidence in his entire video to back up anything that he says, and that's basically so that he can twist the story however he wants to twist it and make it fit his own agenda. The way he tells the story, it's obviously very biased and there's zero evidence to back anything up. But honestly, I mean, once you hear the first part of it when he says that they told me to come out there to compete against me in Call of Duty, I mean, at that point you basically realize that he's just outright lying to you. Pretty much takes away all credibility he has for the story there. I'm not sure he had too much credibility in the first place. I mean, realistically, the only thing you can take truthfully from him is when he's actually reading out tweets. So, I mean, I'll put it to you like this. You can see the evidence that I provided by reading the tweets. You can take the word of the 2,000 people who watched me on live stream. You can hear the story from the person who was actually there and saw everything go down and went through it and make your own judgment call. Or you can just take the word of a 40-year-old gaming news reporter who provided zero evidence. Do whatever you want to do, I guess. Also, one other thing, quickly, this is turning into quite a long intro, I didn't mean it to be so long. Some people apparently got offended that I used the term gamer. I'm not really sure why people would get offended at that. It's not really an offensive thing, but, I mean, people just looking for something to get upset, realistically. I mean, you're getting upset over the word gamer, man? Like, you can't be this much of a fucking pussy, dude. Like, I'll explain it from my point of view and the way I use the word. I mean, maybe I'm not using it the correct way, but I'll give you my point of view on it and why I use it that way. But I kind of use the word gamer as a synonym for nerd, basically, is the easy way for me to put it. So, I mean, I guess technically anyone who plays video games is a gamer, you know what I'm saying? But in my personal opinion, in my eyes, there's a difference between me waking up in the morning, going to school, going to work, going to the gym, then coming home late at night and playing Xbox for like 2 hours before I go to bed, spend an hour or two making a video, then I'm going to bed. But you're comparing that to someone who doesn't go to school, doesn't have a quote-unquote real job, doesn't have any physical activity in their life, no sports, no gym, no nothing. People who just wake up, get on Xbox, make a video, go to sleep. That's their day. I don't know. I see a difference between those two lives. Maybe you don't, but the second one is obviously what I would consider a gamer. Anyways, let's get into the video topic for today. That was way too much long of an intro. I apologize for that, but I had to just clear some shit up, man. People were talking crazy. But basically, if you want to just know any more information, you can just check my tweets. A lot of good ones in there. You'll probably laugh. It was some good stuff. But anyway, so let's talk about it. So, Optic lost UMG Dallas. That ended their 4-event win streak. And I tweeted that I didn't think anyone would ever accomplish what Cole did in their prime. Cole being Complexity, COL. You guys know what I'm talking about. Some people agreed, some people disagreed. And I figured it would be a good topic to actually explore and get into. So, first, I kind of just want to remind you exactly of what Complexity accomplished. And I'm talking about only in their prime. And I'm going to be doing the same to Optic. And then kind of be talking about if that will ever happen again. But, you know, there's a lot of factors that go into it, which I'm not going to be taking into effect. For example, team changes, time frame, special event wins like X Games or Champs, level of competition, frequency of events. You know, there's a lot of factors that go into it, but this is just basic comparisons. So I'm going to put on the screen Crim's championships. Obviously, because Crim was on both teams, it's easiest to just look at his championships. So you can see his first win was on June 30th, 2013. I believe it was Anaheim. He won 2 in a row, and then he proceeded to lose PAX. They were 2 out of 3 at that point, obviously. Then they go on to win UMG Atlanta, and that starts the streak of 9 straight event wins in a row, bringing their total into 11 out of 12. Then they go on to lose X Games and then win Anaheim once again, and that was pretty much the end of their prime. And they did go on to win one more event, ESWC, the final event of Ghost. That was after they were already falling apart. So in total, the stats are 13 total championships, 9 in a row as their best streak, and their best run was 11 out of 12. Now, to put that into perspective, I'm going to put Optic's performance up on the screen. This is Crim's championships once again. Now, as you can see, they started off the year with the 2nd place, then they got 1st at Orlando. They won 3 in a row, 7th at Champs, then they won 4 in a row, and they got 2nd just this last weekend at UMG Dallas. So their totals are 7 total championships, best streak 4 in a row, and that actually just ended, so they're gonna have to start over. And their best run, if I end the run, the best run they got was 7 out of 8, and if I'm continuing the run based on this recent loss, they are currently 4 out of 5. And they'd have to win the next 7 events in a row to tie what Complexity did. So basically, what Optic has accomplished so far is about maybe around 50% of what Complexity did. And that really puts it into perspective because, you know, we've all been talking about how Optic has been so dominant. They've been destroying everyone. No one can beat them, blah, blah, blah. And then you think about it and you're like, damn, like they only accomplished 50% basically of what Complexity did. And that really kind of puts it into perspective on how good Complexity really was. So the real question is, do I think any team can ever replicate Complexity's success ever again in that fashion? Well, first of all, one thing I want to say is this Optic Gaming roster on paper is better than the Cole roster, easily. Individual skill, 100% this Optic Gaming roster is the best roster ever in Call of Duty, just based pure off individual skill of each player compared to individual skills of other players. This is not taking into effect teamwork and stuff like that, just good players. This is the best roster there's ever been. The reason I bring that up is because if this team is struggling to do it, how do you expect another team to do it? You know what I'm saying? If the best individually talented team ever is struggling to match what they did, how do you expect a lesser team to do that? You know what I'm saying? Obviously teamwork and stuff matters, but that's just something I wanted to include in the video. Now, people are also saying that Advanced Warfare is a fluky game, doesn't have too much of a skill gap. I can't agree with that. Black Ops 2 definitely had a higher skill gap than Advanced Warfare, meaning that if you were really good, you could consistently win, whereas in this game, even if you're really good, it's easy for other people to also be really good and stuff. So I understand the skill gap is lower in Advanced Warfare, and that's the one thing that Optic does have going for them, is that this game isn't that great as far as skill gap is concerned. So the only way I can really see that a team does it is if this OG team stays together until Black Ops 3, or at the very least if Crim, Scump, and Formal stay together, because I mean it's pretty much at this point confirmed that that's just like a little trio, and they're probably not ever going to break up, and you know they just keep substituting 4th players into their roster, and I kind of feel like that 4th player is always just going to be like an outsider to that trio at this point. But those 3 and a solid 4th, they could take anyone they want, so they'll always have a good 4th. I think that team, this current team, or if they pick up a new 4th or whoever, as long as they really realistically have Crim, Scump, and Formal on a team, they should be the best team. If they get a game that has a high skill gap, which Black Ops 3 hopefully will have a high skill gap, they could maybe do it. I think that team in a high skill gap game could do it. But here's the last point I wanted to make, which would maybe take away from that fact, and it would be that the competition is only getting tougher every year. Think about the competition back in COD 4 to now. Just think about the competition from Black Ops 2 to now. Just a huge increase in the amount of players that play competitive, the amount of good players that, you know, we're discovering and stuff like that. It just keeps getting harder and harder to compete, and you have to really, really be one of the best players to compete every time. Now, the way I could explain it easily is think about who your top 10 players would be in Black Ops 2. I would assume if I made a top 10 right now of Black Ops 2 players, I would bet probably have the same 10 players as 90% of you, and the only thing we would have different probably is the order. I'd say 90% of you probably would agree with my top 10. If I made one right now for Advanced Warfare, there's probably, I'd say at least 20 to 30 players that people would put in the top 10, and I'd say maybe like 25% of you would 100% agree with my top 10. You know, the rest of you would have at least one person subbed out and put in the top 10 that I didn't put in there or whatever. So there's just a lot more good players nowadays, so it makes it harder to compete against them. Now, the whole PS4 Switch, that might shake things up. Maybe some people aren't good with the PlayStation controller. They're not good on PS4, you know, whatever. That shouldn't matter too much, but that might shake things up. We'll see. That definitely takes into effect, but I don't know. That's just my thoughts. Will someone ever do what Complexity did? There's one shot for a team to do that, and I think that's Black Ops 3, because for that, we're going to get Ghost 2, which that's going to have no skill gap. And after that, we might get Advanced Warfare 2. No skill gap in that either, so we'll see what happens, but overall, I think Black Ops 3 is the year. If anyone wants to try to do it, they got to do it in Black Ops 3. Otherwise, they're going to have to wait till the next Treyarch COD, most likely. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like rating if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you are not already. Follow me on Twitter. Links in the description down below. Other than that, have a good day, and peace out.
You got a secret, like you victorious. I'm back on a Tuesday and fucking feels glorious. I'm on the backbeat, sipping in the backseat, listening to NSYNC. No, not Backstreet.